Greetings, Moonlight citizens. This is your man on the moon. Episode Moonlight Kingdom Podcast 82. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all them nice things. Enjoy.
So we're going to start talking about the question you're asking, or we're just going to ask random questions now?
I think that would be preferred.
Okay. All right. So I had 2 relationships, right? And one of them I have a child with. And I'm 23. And the first relationship was I did everything for her. And the only thing I asked was, because I was raised up in a Hispanic household. To the house, basically like a traditional Catholic household, but I would have to be doing everything. Yes, I won't diss on her saying that she didn't take care of our child and all that, but after almost 5 years of being with her, you would expect a little bit more, just how she would expect more of me. And it finally got to
What more were you expecting?
Like taking care of our house, making sure we're good,
Was this something y'all discussed
What do you mean?
beforehand?
Be specific. You're being very vague.
Specific, like as in, feed us, clean the house, teach our kid valuable things. And she wouldn't. She would sleep all day. She wouldn't do anything. And, that gets tiring because I would come home and I would have to, but trust me, I understand. I understand.
No, but I have a question.
Yeah.
Was she likewise? Because based what you're telling me, you're essentially telling me she was a lazy, worthless fucking sack of meat that you got to fuck every now and then.
Hold on. Chill.
No.
I didn't say that.
No, that you're saying that without saying that. So I'm gonna ask this: was she operating at the same wavelength when y'all were dating before you put a baby in her?
What do you mean?
Was she still being a lazy sack of shit when you were dating her before you got her pregnant?
Okay, I don't really like dissing people like that, but I did notice.
It's a yes or no question.
I was answering. I did notice those tendencies before we did get pregnant.
So yes.
Probably, yeah, a little bit, yeah. And,
so that's your fault for getting that bitch pregnant.
Oh.
That's what you chose to raise your child.
Chill with the language, bro.
My life, I don't have to chill with the language.
Yeah, I know. But anyways, but we after the relationship ended, we both it was a mutual thing. And I'm still present in my baby's life. But the second one, I did start with again, with me doing everything again. But it was like the same thing happened again. And then after that, I was like, you know what? Let's do 50-50. And then whenever that happened, the relationship started to change, and it just kind of opened my eyes, saying, a lot of these people here weren't raised, the way that I was raised, with the whole perspective of traditional relationships. And, that's why it's really hard to find somebody out there who is on the same level as you, because I'm still fairly young, and I consider myself pretty mature for my age, because I see a lot of my peers, they don't do what I have done,
So when you asked for, in this new relationship, when you asked to do 50-50, did you mean 50-50 like, let's split everything financially, or 50-50 in terms of like, let's split all of our roles and responsibilities?
50-50, everything, financially, household work, I would still do the heavy things, like, maintaining our car, what I could do, like doing basic oil changes, making sure our cars are operational, and all that.
One thing I'm going to tell you, you said you're 23?
Yeah.
You want a girl to have burning desire for you. You want her soul to burn. You don't want a girl not burning for me. I don't want it.
Yeah, and that's also what I've noticed
Bro,
too.
who wants you like that, bro? I'm telling you, I swear to God. A lot of times I be taking girls out on dates or whatever the case may be, or I got a little girlfriend or whatever. These girls, they like, oh my God, I don't want you to spend all this money on me. Oh, can I help with the tip? And then after we go out to eat or whatever, they'll like, oh, can I take you out for ice cream? Can we go out for cookies? Blah, blah, blah. It's on me. You gotta find a girl who reciprocates. And the girls who, I'll tell you, when a girl really like you, she gonna reciprocate. She is.
So that is true. When you genuinely give a fuck about somebody, it shows. And if that's reciprocated, that's even better. Yeah, here's the fundamental thing, bro. Personally, I don't advertise what I want. I observe. Right? That's how I found my husband. I didn't tell him I wanted to be a wife until we had that conversation. I didn't tell him I wanted X, Y, and Z and blase, blase, blase and certain behaviors. I accepted him how he was and just let him behave, let him operate. And he did the same for me.
After the birth. I took care of my child for like 2 months.
Okay, here's the fact of the matter, homeboy. It doesn't stop at 2 months. Number one. Number two, you need to start being more selective in who you're picking, because that fucking all-in attitude is beautiful. And you need to fucking start being selective with the chicks that you decide to you want to fucking put your dick in. Because if you end up having another baby, because that's bound to happen.
No, yeah, and I understand that. And I mean, I'm not saying that I stopped at 2 months.
You need to literally start vetting.
Yeah, and I my mistake was, I didn't talk to my older family members, before I started making my decisions. And when I asked them for advice, they gave me a lot of insight, because they told me a lot of this stuff happened to them too, but in reverse roles. See, a lot of my family are women, and they said that they would always do everything, but
which of your family did you go to for that advice? Like,
so I have majority women in my family, so I took a lot of advice from my female elders, and they gave me a lot of insight. They were like, and they said exactly what you said. They had to have a burning desire, and also, and I'm also the same way as you. I don't know what your name is, but like, there has to be like unspoken, communication of what you desire from each other.
Absolutely not.
No, you still need to say it.
Communication is the worst thing you can fucking do.
That's how you mess up the whole unspoken communication thing. The stuff that's unspoken, they can say, "Oh well, you didn't say any of that." How can you expect something from somebody if you don't say it?
I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying, like, I've always had good communications to my relationships. But what I'm saying, as in, like, not what you should already expect, but more as in, you see what I'm doing for you. I don't know how to put it in words. More like,
can I ask y'all one question, just to the room? Can you be like in hard, like in crazy sexy love with somebody, but you're also friends with them? Are those two things compatible?
What, like friend zone?
Hold on, time out. Let's get some clarification.
Sure.
Have you fucked them?
Well, I know, because that introduces new complications.
No. So, no, or yes or no?
Oh, who? The person I'm specifically talking about right now?
Bingo.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No. We're just like, we've been friends for a long time. No, we haven't, actually. And I don't want it, and I don't think she does too, because it's better for us to be, like, our friendship. Sex complicates shit, man. Like, saying, bro, stop it.
Well, so here's what's up.
Different. It makes things a little different. It
will make shit different. Absolutely. Yeah. Here's the fact of the matter.
Okay.
Have you pursued, have you even asked, hey, I want to be your boyfriend, will you be my girlfriend? Have you even asked that question?
No, because we've just been friends for so long, you know?
You're an idiot.
She don't like you like that, bro.
No, none of that.
No,
The chances, listen, the chances you don't take are missed opportunities.
Yeah.
No, she has
There's
kids.
no
She
doubt.
has kids with other dudes. I have kids with other women. Like, we are just friends, you know? Like,
Then y'all go stay friends if you don't say nothing.
Bingo.
but I want her to be my friend. I don't.
Then say something.
Dude, do you understand that my husband is my best friend?
Bro. Like,
Do you understand that my husband is my best friend?
yeah, no, that's what I was asking. You know, and like, no, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna listen. It's all right.
Listen, you can still be best friends and change the fucking situation. Because guess what?
I'll have kids.
You're still gonna be best friends. Now you just now you guys actually have something moving forward. Now, if she's friend zoned you, it's a different fucking story.
But
You know,
I know
such
y'all
is
are
life.
talking about things like friend zoning. It's not like that. It's like, look, I have 5 children. She has 2 children.
Okay.
We go on holidays together sometimes as friends. You know, like. But you're right. I kind of like she's my best friend, man.
Wouldn't you love to be in a long-lasting relationship with your best friend who you also get to dig down?
Right? But I'm scared of it. It's like,
You need to get in her ribs.
we have it so good right now.
I'm
Like, just
telling
being
you,
friends,
stop.
you know. So
You need to get in her. Stop.
you know what I mean? Like,
Get in her ribs.
I don't want
No, he does not need to get in her ribs. He needs to fucking grow a pair and fucking ask her to be his girlfriend.
But how do you think that's even going to happen? I guarantee you she's not feeling him like that.
By
'cause
asking.
women who like a man that much campaign for the relationship. If you're with a girl, if you're even friends with a girl and she likes you that much, she's going to campaign for the relationship. She's going to be like, why are we not even dating? Girls do that.
Often that happens, but not always.
But you
Often
should
it happens.
still, even if that's the
Bruh,
case, you should
she don't
still
want it, bro.
go in there. You should still be the
If she
one to
wanted
ask,
it.
like, hey,
Y'all are fucking going ahead and bottom 2, perfect in Benz. Come on, y'all.
Well, so the question of this fucking chat is 50-50. 50-50 isn't just finance. 50-50 is like partnership. You know, and that means a lot more than just like I supply the fucking car. 50-50 means like we're in this shit together. We ride or die, you know? And like that's what fucking 50-50 means. It doesn't just mean, you know,
You're describing 50-50 in a way that most people do not interpret it.
yeah,
well, they
dang.
should then. They should interpret
Okay,
it that way.
yeah, and I should have, when I fart, fucking $100 bills should fall out of my ass. But you know what? It doesn't
I
happen.
would
That's not
love
reality.
that. That sounds so
Hey,
Bro, right?
or
I'd be eating extra broccoli and beans just to get.
So when you meet someone who you get on with, yeah, you get to fart in front of them. You know?
This conversation is troubling to me.
Yeah, laundering money would have a whole new meaning. Not,
Keep me straight from the point.
Demons.
I'm going back down and just listening. I'm just gonna listen
But
to you.
Damon,
no, don't, bro,
if you
don't
wanna
be discouraged. Just
if you want a
be
girl to
upfront.
be your girlfriend, you have to provide that long john silver. I'm
Bro,
saying,
And you have to just fucking
I
ask
have
the
2
question.
ex-wives and 5 kids, dude. I've not had a problem with fucking finding
How old are you?
54, dude.
Dude. And your balls haven't dropped still? Ask her to fucking be your girlfriend. Get off my panel.
Oh my
Get off my damn
God.
panel. 50-year-old man acting like a fucking 13-year-old girl in middle
saying
school,
you gotta
freaking
throw down
out.
the hammer, bro.
If he said he was like 20, I would understand, but 50?
You're 50. Bruh.
Yo,
Get it.
God is so good. This is crazy.
I'm surprised to learn that Bands was a brother, man. Like, damn, really? I was expecting a white guy.
You couldn't hear it, bro?
No!
He got that bass in his voice. It's nice. It's nice. Good bass.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, I appreciate it.
PT.
Oh.
Diddy. What's up, man? What's your take?
Oh, personally, on my end of the side, while we're waiting for the person to speak up.
50-50?
Oh, whatever.
Pardon?
What's wrong with 50-50 relationship?
No one said there's anything wrong with 50-50 relationships. I'm asking a question.
Okay, nothing's wrong with that.
We
Wasn't arguing that there was. I'm asking, why do you ask for a 50-50 relationship? Clearly, based on that statement, you do. So why do you?
They ran.
Isabella is just tacking all the polish, bro.
Well,
Isabella?
Wanting 50,
Who's Isabella?
Like
I don't know. She's been arguing with everybody. She said, "Man, I'm present in my child's life. Like, I know him. He knows me as his dad. Every time I go, he calls me dad.
You are his father.
Not every dad. Not every split up.
You got a sister or a cousin?
PT, my hands were like here when you dropped. I was borderline holding my breasts for emotional support because I was waiting for the incoming conversation. Hey, y'all. Bueno, this was a fun conversation for the day. Fans, you made it. You made the conversation tits, bro. I appreciate your dialogue. Sorry that I wasn't here to listen to all your thirsting.
My thirsting?
Bro is zipping over you.
You're gonna be able to hear it in your DM. Let me stop.
oh yeah, bro, swimming in it.
I might be able to hear it in my DMs, but it's not like I'd respond anyway, bro.
He wants to be the moon.
What?
You've never heard
The
that saying?
moon?
Like your husband's the sun and the other guy is the moon. You never heard that?
No, because I don't participate in that type of bullshit.
Wait,
I respect that she's married. No, that's why I was asking if you got a cousin.
the men aren't the ones that
Sister.
It's the moms.
My sister's also married.
Can't be
You
mad
know,
at
this
that.
is a great.
She's trying to holler at all your family, bro.
I love this dynamic here. You know,
Yeah, she's a real one.
Married in a that's a very good predictor. You know, if you guys had more family members or whatever, like a guy, that's something to look out for. If you know, if you're a guy and you see that, you know, no one's married in your girl's family, that's a red flag.
Yeah, I agree with Dredd.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I don't necessarily know that looking at family, like who's married and who's not, is a good predictor, because I have some family members that are in very tumultuous and very unfavorable marriages.
Yeah,
Married.
same. I have a lot of my family members that are married, but they're not happy in their marriage at all.
Also, just because someone's not married doesn't mean they've never been married.
But they're conditioned to stay in that marriage because that's what they've been told in the past, is that you need to be married even if you're unhappy. And I don't agree with that either.
Kids with no ring, and no kind of commitment, no kind of nothing.
I mean, that's my biggest thing. That's why I ask women. The flip side of this question is, why are you accepting 50-50 relationships? Because if you are under the predicament that you want a dude who's going to take care of all the shit, if that's what you want, not because you're going to exercise that, and you shouldn't, because I feel, and I say feel appropriately, I feel like that is taking advantage of your partner. But when push comes to shove, like you're on maternity leave, or you just popped out a kid and you're recovering, or you're sick, or God forbid you get in a car accident or whatever, now that relationship falls apart because you already don't have a man who is ready to step up and do the damn thing for you because he wants to, because that's in his nature. Most of these chicks are fucking getting knocked up by dudes who fucking want to just go ahead and smoke a pipe and fucking, eat shit on fucking cock-a-doodle for like it's their part-time job and not get a fucking penny for it, okay? So I highly encourage, like, if you want a certain thing, number one, you have to become that thing. You likewise need to be there reliable. You need to be what you are fucking searching for.
Yeah.
So you can start identifying it. But number two, you also can't just fucking go ahead and be falling for the follies of the pretty words that the dudes are gonna give you.
Oh shit.
Though in that
And for
50-50
dudes,
relationship,
it's the flip side. You need a chick who, if you don't want to be taken advantage of, get yourself a lady who is not going to be actively taking advantage of you and coasting while you're doing shit. You know, if you want a chick who is going to be a quote unquote ride or die or a hardcore partner, you need to fucking start scouting that out. If you want a woman who's going to raise your children, you need to be selective because you don't want conflicting parenting styles.
Mm-hmm.
You as a man likewise need to be just as selective as I will encourage women to be. And guess what? For the mediocre pieces of shit, they should be ostracized. You are the dregs of society. You do not need to be procreating. The fucking corner is right over there. Put your ass to work, and you, dude, well, you know what, fucking, it sucks to suck that you're never gonna go ahead and reproduce. That's okay. It's been like that. You have your hoes and your scrubs, and that is okay. I want people to stop reaching for hoes and scrubs. I want people to elevate into a better relationship.
Who's this girl laughing?
yeah, nobody really ever, works hard to climb their way to the middle.
Yeah.
And guess what? If you find someone who is likewise walking, like climbing their way up to the middle, eventually now you guys both have fucking hauling power. You guys will fucking continue to climb up together.
Yeah.
You know, it's so hard as a man who cooks, cleans, and can do everything on his own, and then you meet women who don't make as much money. They can't provide as much, and I feel like, to some degree, I'm low-key gonna settle, because it's just like, most guys, they make the money, and they're like, oh, hold on one second.
If you're the dude who...
There's a lot of children screaming in the background.
Yeah. If you're a dude who does everything, cooks, cleans, and has more money than the other partner, and you're predominantly taking care of everything going on, then you can't really call that a partnership or relationship. That's a roommate that you're with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the dynamic in a 50-50 relationship does change, though, once a kid comes into the equation. Because,
Well,
yeah.
And another thing is that the dynamic of a 50-50 relationship also includes like a complete split down the middle, right? So it's like if you as a dude, you're asking for a 50-50 relationship, but you're likewise not participating in any of the damn domestics because I'm too tired, then you're not really in a 50-50 relationship. You're just fucking going ahead and having your chick pay bills while fucking taking up all the fucking home activities. And if that's what you want, that's fine. But let's just be honest about it. Let's not fucking go ahead and hide under a guise. That's what we're doing. And chicks, if you want to fucking go ahead and get pimped out financially, do it. That's fine. I just want you guys to know that that's what's going on. I want guys to understand that that's what they're advertising for.
Yo, but sorry, what I was saying before.
Lysine.
These girls out here, I'm telling you, this is a problem. Hold on. Don't come at her like that. I don't like that.
I know people are wild.
Cold sores are a thing. 80% of the population has them. If that makes me so repulsive, then I don't care. Guess what? I still fucking have a warm, snuggly man to fucking fall asleep to at the end of the day. So I'm fucking perfectly contented.
Yeah, I don't like people doing that. I know that, speaking of mean girls, nursing is the mean girls profession. Oh my God, don't even restart.
Don't you notice the majority of the mean girls in fucking high school ended up going to nursing school and continued being bitches?
Yeah, actually,
they're terrible. God.
Actually, I have a lot of family in the medical field. Like my cousin, she's still in college, but she's already like an RN, but she's something more than an RN. I forget what you call it, but she told me she was like, I don't remember what she said, but I remember she told me, she was like, don't ever find anybody in the medical field. Promise me you won't. And I was like, why? She was like, because I see like more than over half of my coworkers over here arguing with relationships, but in their free time, I always see them go out with different dudes. I was like, oh, okay, thank you for the heads up.
Bro, and it's some of it is the power dynamic sometimes, but I'm gonna be honest with you. These nurses will sleep with anybody. Transporter, phlebotomist, security.
She told me it's not even like a power dynamic. She said it's just they feel like they're too good for their partner, you know, and they feel like they can just.
If they were too good for their partner, they would have fucking become a doctor.
Yeah, exactly. And because my cousin, she's a nurse, and her husband's a doctor, and they're really good people. They're actually really, really good people. And he said the same thing. He was like, I don't know how I found your cousin, but she's a really good woman to me. You know, people argue all the time. That's just going to be a fact about a relationship. There's going to be bound to be an argument about something. But they said that they found each other in a really good position of their life. And they're happy where they're at, but they also told me they're like, but once you find somebody else in the nursing field or the doctor's field, it's kind of hard to find somebody who is loyal enough to you.
Devil, go ahead and say your piece, man.
Yeah, so I kind of have my own story about a 50-50 relationship, if you're up to hear it.
So, if you're gonna answer...
Well, Isabella is a menace.
There we go.
Okay, so no, I don't accept a 50-50 relationship, and I actually just broke up with my partner in 7 months because of it. So, he was somebody who was raised in a home with no love, no affection, whatever. His parents is very much 50-50. I hated it. I didn't...
Very transactional.
Yeah, and that's what I said. So his whole thing was like, oh, you know, you're going to get a job, like, you're going to pay for this and that, like, I'm not going to put money into your car even though it's going to be the family car, and like, you know, but you still need to pick up and drop off to the kids' school, and you still got to, you know, go to work, and you still got to come home and look after the kids. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not up for that. Like, I told him before we even started going out, I was like, I want to be a stay-at-home mum. I'm fine to have a job up until I'm a mum, and I'm stay-at-home mum. My kids will be homeschooled. And I'm going to have a fucking dairy cow because I want one. Like, you know, that's me. I'm a very traditional person, so I'm very much...
You said, I want the plantation.
I just want a dairy cow because I'm lactose intolerant, so milk straight from a cow is really good for me, and it's hereditary, so it carries in my genes. So, my kids will be lactose intolerant pretty much. So yeah, that's why I want dairy cow. But anyways, besides the point, but like, yeah, he wanted a very transactional relationship. And when I said to him about breaking up, he was like, oh no, like, we can get a house. Mind you, I've been talking about a rental for ages, and he just didn't want it and everything and whatever. Anyways, and then all of a sudden when it come to a breakup, oh my God, I can do all these things. I can reply to messages you send. I can like the pictures you posted of us. I can call you beautiful and compliment you. I can all of a sudden want a rental, and I want to get married next year and have kids next year. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, his whole mindset just did a complete backflip, and I was like, you know...
His mindset didn't do a backflip. He was trying to bait you.
Exactly, and that's why I was just like, no, I'm out. I grew up with a very manipulative and abusive father, so I know what to look for. And as soon as that happened, I was like, nah, see you later. That is not on. I'm not up for that, because at the end of the day, if you're somebody like me and you don't want to accept a 50-50 relationship, there is a man out there. There's 7 billion people in the world. One of them is going to hang the moon and stars for you, and one of them will actually want the same things as you do. And be that person for you.
Here's my question for you. Are you looking for compatibility, or are you looking for an aesthetic?
Compatibility.
Okay.
I want somebody who also wants the same thing as me. I'm a very country person. Trying to find a decent country bloke is really hard. So, you know, I want someone who is compatible with that. I also would like somebody who is goal-driven and who wants to be a protector and a provider. I'm very traditional when it comes to marriage side of things. I was raised in a Christian home, so I have a lot of Christian values when it comes to marriage. So that's my kind of take on it is, you know, I do want a protector and a provider. I do want somebody who wants those things.
would you want to get into a relationship with someone who is very quick to be like, yeah, we're doing it tomorrow? Or would you be open to starting a relationship with someone who is like, I see your goals, here's how we get to them, and starts like building up the path into getting what you want?
Either or, because honestly, either way, I like the idea of building with a person because it helps you understand that person more. So for me, I like the idea of starting at nothing and building because it makes you stronger as a couple. So like my ex-partner had his whole 5-year plan and I was just supposed to fit in. And I was like, no, I don't like that. I can't just come into your life and fit in and there's no consideration for me. That's one thing I learned. Okay. When you get with somebody like that, you're expected to fit in. So I prefer to grow with someone.
It's not fair for someone to ask you to fit into a preset mold that you didn't particularly agree to.
Exactly. There was like, for example, I'll give you an example of it. So the town I'm living in now, I'm not happy in. My abusive father is still here. I don't want to be here. I've wanted to move for ages. His whole life is based around this town. He knew this before he started dating and everything, and he didn't care. And there was absolutely no consideration for where I wanted to live or anything that I wanted to achieve in my life as a wife and as a mother. It was all about him. Everything was about how he could set us up, how he could do this and he could do that. And it was all about him. There was nothing or no consideration about me until it came to parenting, and that was it. And I was just like, yeah, that's not for me at all.
Okay. I'm going to sound like an asshole. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like as long as people are okay being single and maybe never finding someone, I find nothing wrong with anything that anyone's saying. I find that people, though they're not happy, they're very unhappy with setting their standards. And if you're going to set those type of standards, then just stand on business and be okay. But people start to rip their hair out when, they hit 35, 40 and, they haven't found anyone and their standards start to drop sharply. It's all nice, but I think in the real sense, it's like, and this is just my personal opinion, you will see some people, like, okay, good example. Let's say you start a job at Amazon and there's a range it starts at $18 an hour to like $35 an hour for this position. And you will have a bunch of candidates apply for this job, and whether or not they get the job, everyone's going to want their $35 an hour, right? No one wants to make the 18. The reality is most people might not get the job, and the people who do get the job are probably going to be on the lower end of that. People don't realize sometimes, like, based on the type of applicant that you are, you can kind of negotiate certain things. There are going to be certain things that certain people are in a position to negotiate easier than others. I feel like when a lot of women are like making these standards, like, this is my standard, it's like, that's fine. But if 60, 70, 80% of the women have that kind of standards, then just be okay being single. Like, don't be like, oh, guys just want me for my body, I can't find anyone. Just don't complain about that, because honestly speaking, your standards are great and I don't find anything wrong with them per se. But if you have like some very obscure standards, like you want a country boy and you don't live in an area where it's like super, super country and all that stuff, it's like, you're going to struggle to find that like ideal person, and you're going to have to like have some give on, what your quote unquote standard is for a man.
Yeah, I do agree. And like, the thing is, I do live in a country town, so I've grown up on a station my whole life, and I live in the town just out of the station that I grew up on. And I'm actually moving 10 hours away from home into an even more rural area. So I'm going to have no problem finding that. But literally, my only standards are that, you treat me with respect. That's my biggest thing, is you treat me with respect. I've been disrespected one too many times in previous relationships. I've been cheated on. I've been sexually assaulted. I could go on. So my standards are there for a reason, to protect me and to also make sure that I date to marry. I don't date to fuck around. I don't do one night stands. I'm a very traditional person when it comes to relationships and dating.
Have you ever done one night stands?
I did it once and I have forever regretted it. I will never, ever do that again. It is like, for me doing that one night stand, I was in a very bad emotional place and I didn't work out my emotions. And so I actually made a really dumb decision, and that was the dumb decisions. And yeah, I've forever regretted it since. I hate the fact that I did it. I've recognized my mistake, and yeah, I date to marry. I do not date to fuck around. And at the end of the day, yeah, my standards, they're not that high, honestly. All I ask is that you're a decent person and that, you know, we have either similar life goals and things we can work on, and that's it. That's all I ask of the person or whoever I'm with is that. But if you expect me to kind of like fit in with something you've already pre-planned and there's no consideration for me at all, no way.
Mm-hmm.
That's unrealistic.
100%. I agree with that. Yeah. Part of reality out here.
There was a guy that asked earlier, I'll see if I can find it. He said, why do you feel you should be able to go through life and be looked after? So
that would go against the argument being had here. Like, just like going through life and being looked after, that isn't the makings of a 50-50 relationship. That's like, that's ostensibly a sugar daddy. Like a relationship between a sugar daddy and a sugar baby.
So my answer to his question is kind of like, okay, if I'm going to be the wife and the homemaker and the mother, I don't think I should have to go and get a job because you're saving how much money on childcare. My kids are going to be homeschooled. So I'm cooking and cleaning 24/7 for the kids and for you when he gets home. You know, like, yeah, no doubt he's going to be doing things as well. But I'm kind of like, you know, you're going to be saving how much money on a cleaner, on a cook if you need it, on childcare, on school, you know, so I'm being looked after, yes, but I'm also looking after my partner and my husband and the kids at that stage. I'm doing a massive job as a mother. Being a mother is not easy. That's my answer to that question. I don't know if he's still in here, but...
A proper relationship would be both parties doing their part to make this shit work. Any relationship where it is vastly skewed to one side being the side that's whose job it is to make sure the relationship works, that's not gonna last. People can only deal with so much.
Yeah, exactly. And like I am not skewed to my side of things. Like I kind of go, yeah, you know what, in a perfect world, sure, but it's not a perfect world and it never will be. I'm not a perfect person and everybody makes mistakes. So am I completely set within that? No. I do have give and I am comfortable changing things for the right person, but it has to be for the right person and somebody I really see potential in. I'm somebody that will push you to be the best version of yourself because I see potential. That's me as a person.
Also with a 50-50 relationship, it opens the door for, you know, if something were to happen, the other party to be able to pick up the slack. Because if you're in a relationship where it's largely skewed to, say, since you're the wife, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're taking care of the house, you're taking care of the kids, if something happens where you're out of commission for whatever reason, like you twist your leg or you fall ill, then all those duties are like, well, who's going to do all this if the guy wasn't already doing that? You know, it's like, damn, the whole relationship is kind of thrown into disarray if for whatever reason you're out of commission. It's like, well, now the dude has to do all these things, but he wasn't doing them before. So it's like, how's he going to, you know?
So I don't agree with that, mainly because I've seen the shit that I've gone through in my life and the things my mum has gone through in her life. I'm the oldest of 3 kids. We have no father in the home at the moment. My mum is the strongest person I know. She has been sick. She has had broken limbs. She is everything. She has gone through every possible thing you can imagine. She's been abused. She's going through a divorce right now, everything. And she still shows up for her kids. She still shows up and she does her best. And even though some days her best might not be, you know, whatever, she still shows up. At the end of the day, once you're a mother and once you're committed to that, it doesn't matter what you are still a mother. And you still show up for your kids. And I'm a very tough person, so even I could be sick, whatever. I'm still going to clean the house. I'm still going to do that for my kids because at the end of the day, that's the type of person I am. I'm not a bitch. I ain't going to just lay in bed and sick because I've got a head cold. Like, no, get up, do shit. You're a mother. You've got kids to look after. It's your responsibility as well. And yes, the husband should help. I do agree with that. The husband should help no matter what. But at the end of the day, he's also working. You know, he's providing and protecting. You got to do your part as the wife, whatever situation you're in, if you can, to, you know, still keep up with that. That's my view on it anyways, because that's what I've grown up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a solid view to have on the situation that, you know, rain or shine. And it really emphasizes the in sickness and in health part of, you know, like being in what's this? A marriage, yeah. Forgot the word for a second there. Because, yeah,
like I said before, I'm very traditional when it comes to marriage and relationships. So, yeah, that's me. In sickness and in health, for richer or for poorer, that's me. Down to the bare bones, that is me. What do you guys look for, like, when it comes to, like, relationship-wise? What are your guys' standards for a woman?
Well, I think the most important things for me are loyalty and honesty. However, some of the other things that I think are equally important, someone who's, someone who can adapt to different situations. You know, I think for my life, I've had to adapt to a lot of different situations. And I've noticed that some people just don't deal well with that, and you can't really control life. So, I mean, someone who kind of goes with the flow a little bit. I want someone who's wise, who makes good decisions, you know, especially considering, you know, with children. I want someone who is responsible and, you know, will teach my daughter and my son, in addition to myself, but also in my absence, you know, responsible enough to take care of my kids. And I like someone who's smart and hardworking, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like I'm more inclined to do more for a person if I see that they're more than willing to do it. You know, whereas if I see someone who's like, yeah, I don't really want to do this, and I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I don't know. Like, when I see a woman who works really hard, it makes me want to take that load away from her. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want her to be stressing it. Like, I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's my job to be stressed out. But, you know, I feel like that's just my perspective. So, I mean, ideally for me, you know, I'd like my whomever I decide to marry will have like a decent occupation. Maybe they're you know, an attorney or an engineer or something like that. But they wouldn't work like full-time hours, maybe like part-time per diem type of hours. You know what I mean? Something very light and very manageable.
Yeah, and like for me, like if I was in a relationship and I was married and I was a mum and I needed to get a job, like I'm more than happy to do that. But for me, it's a last resort because the education system in Australia is absolutely, it's flawed in so many places. So obviously I want to put my kids first and do what's best for them. However, if it was necessary for me to get a job, I absolutely would. Because, you know, it might not be what I want to do, but at the end of the day, you got to step up as a wife and as a mother to, you know, still contribute in every way you possibly can, especially if it's necessary.
Yeah. I don't know. Something about, I find, this is just, again, anecdotal. I don't like the idea of a woman not working whatsoever and only staying at home 100% of the time. I find a problem with that. And I find that people get very lackadaisical, very comfortable, very sometimes unappreciative.
Complacent.
You know, complacent. And I feel like it drastically increases the chance that infidelity will take place, especially because
there's all this free time when nothing's happening.
Yes, tons. Like, you know, I'm around a lot of rich women. You know, they come in with their husbands or whatever the case may be. We're doing an assessment or whatever. And you just know, like, you know what I mean? You see certain signs. And, you know, my aunt, for instance, my aunt has a very, very, very wealthy husband. And, you know, what she does at home, which is none of my business, you know, is insane. Now, granted, she uses his money. She does not work. She's now a franchisee for a couple of companies like KFC's and Popeyes, you know, overseas. Yeah, but this guy pretty much just gives her all this money, and she's able to do whatever she wants for the most part. And is she loyal and faithful? Like, what is your incentive at that point? This is where integrity really comes into play. It's like, if you know you'll do something and you won't get caught, what is the incentive to not do it? Because usually people are not going to do something based on consequence.
Yeah.
It's very simple in that with guys, there's a stigma that was attached to dudes that if he's not getting it from you, he's getting it from someone else. And that applies to, well, everybody in a sense. Oh damn, the live has ended. Well, that was definitely surprising. I mean, holy soap. I mean, I did not see that coming. And it was really getting somewhere, too, because, it was all three of us. We were just talking amongst ourselves. The host was there, listening in, but they were busy with work. But, yeah, what a discussion that was, asking men why it is they why it is they seek. Yeah, I'm bothered with it. I was looking at the damn topic all this time, and I'm having trouble recalling it. It's, why do they seek 50-50 relationships? Yeah, why do they seek 50-50 relationships? On a more personal note, like, why would I seek a 50-50 relationship? Personally, I wouldn't. There are things that I believe that would clash with that ideology. Like, if you're the one asking, if you want to go out on a date, you should be able to pay for it. Things like that. I fully believe that, if you want to ask a chick out, you should be able to pay for the date. If you want to ask a chick to go to a fancy schmancy restaurant, you better have some fancy schmancy money on you. That's it. Like, you ask a chick for a cup of coffee, you better be able to cover one of them, like, mocha choca, extra pinky, whatever, what the fuck, lattes or venti or whatever it is. You need to be able to pay for all that, because you're the one who asked for this date. Or, you can think ahead, you can be there early and be like, yeah, I already ordered, don't worry about it, and you order something that you can afford. Or something that was discussed beforehand. Like, when you ask a chick, hey, you want to go to like a pizza joint or something? And it's like, hey, what kind of pizza do you like? Ascertain that beforehand. That way they don't show up and like surprise you or something. But yeah, that's that thing. It also lends to that old... Yeah, I remember this thing that was going on back then of things that give women the ick. And one of the things on the list was a guy asking to like meet them at a coffee place or something like that. And it's like, what? So a dude asking you out gives you the ick. Alright, shit. That's another thing. Moving aside from that, why would I go for 50-50 relationships? A relationship in which everything is 50-50 down the middle would be something I might look for. I don't always look for, but it's something I could go for on the basis that, we share responsibilities. For everything, not just the typical stuff of the typical stuff of the guy mows the lawn, the guy takes out the trash, the guy, he's the one with the job, and the woman has the housemaking duties. Like, if we're doing 50-50, we're doing 50-50 everything, all of our duties are split down the middle, and that's hard to do, because beforehand, one would need to ascertain what your duties are. What is it that is being asked of you? What is it that we are going to do in this relationship? What are the roles that we both would take part in? We'd need to establish that early on before we can split it up 50-50. And, if one of us were to go out of commission for whatever reason, say we sustain an injury or we get like seriously ill and we need to be in bed or something like that, the other person would have to acknowledge that, yeah, I'm going to have to pick up the slack for a while because my partner is out of commission. And that would need to be understood by both parties, not just the one, but both parties. And, that's more often than not, that's something that doesn't happen. And there are those moments, like, if it's like 50-50 financial-wise, like all our finances are 50-50, like we have a joint account or something like that. There are relationships that do exist like that where those involved, they share expenses because they share an account, they share... whatever money they earn goes into a joint account, so whatever money that one side has, both sides have access to. There are those relationships. There's pros and cons to those. I'm not really going to go into those, but yeah. In regards to like a 50-50 thing in terms of pay, when you like go on a date with somebody and you're like, okay, so we're going to split this 50-50, right? I understand why one would do it, keep things fair, keep things even, but at the same time, it comes across, it feels a little cheap. It comes across like you're kind of cheap. Like, damn, you took a girl on a date to a nice restaurant and asked for 50-50 split? Like, could you not afford to, like, straight up just pay for everything? Like, did you not think that maybe, when you asked her to come to this restaurant with you, did you not think that, why do you pick this place if you can't afford to eat here, man? Like, why do you, like, order all this stuff if you can't afford to pay for it all? Like, that's fucking weird. Like, what? Why do this? But, never mind, man. Shoot. Like, asking someone to go 50-50 on the check, and you're the one who asked for the date. Like, bro, come on. Whoever asked for the date should be the one paying for it. That's my opinion. Whether it's a man or the woman, you asked the dude out, pay for the date. The dude asked you out, he pays for the date, because he's the one who asked for it. Y'all can do 50-50 once y'all are together. Once y'all are, like, together, and y'all going on, like, a date night or something, then maybe you can do, like, 50-50 on one of those. I think. That's just what I think. But, yeah. Damn, this was a good conversation. While it lasted. Granted, there was that long period where, I don't think that's recorded. So, I don't think that's recorded. But, like, there were a period of time where the host wasn't on the conversation because they were busy with other things. That's cool. And it was the panelists largely taking over and having their own discussions on things. But to hear from the side of view of a dude, two dudes, well, three actually, to hear from the perspective of, because this was directed at men, like, hey, men, why do you prefer 50-50 relationships? That is, that was good because that was what was asked. That's what was asked. Why did the dudes be preferring 50-50 relationships? But now to hear towards the end the side of a woman, a female perspective on, why one would want a 50-50 relationships, or why a woman thinks men want 50-50 relationships, that's a good thing too. Because, we get to see both sides of the coin and we get to diversify the answers that come through. We also saw 50-50, the view of 50-50 relationships from a guy who was married. We saw the view of a 50-50 relationship from a guy who isn't married but has kids. And, we saw a 50-50 view from a guy who was single at the time. So it's like we had very diversified reactions and responses to the topic that was being asked. It's definitely, it's a topic to have on a panel. It's a good topic to discuss with. And you get plenty of different types of responses depending on the people that come up, because everybody, all grown adults have been in relationships at some point, and if not directly been in relationships that requested 50-50, have at least considered being in relationships that have that 50-50 split. Granted, dynamics of a relationship do change once children come into the occasion, because that original dynamic that was established with that 50-50 was made when neither of y'all had a kid to worry about. Now there's a kid in the equation, it changes things. In some cases, downright complicates things. And that would have to be acknowledged. You can't ignore such a major detail. You need to acknowledge that, well, there's now a kid in the situation, and we need to reevaluate what our relationship dynamic is, what our roles are, and what's going to happen from this point on, to so we can better be able to deal with situations as they arise and have a more meaningful, long-lasting relationship. It's things like that that need to be considered in these topics that aren't considered as much as one would like. But yeah, folks, what a good conversation that was. I'm kind of bummed it ended as abruptly as it did. I wanted to keep the conversation going. I mean, there was still plenty to be said, but hey, maybe it'll be said at a later date when this topic is revisited, if it's revisited. But hey, even if it wasn't, thank you, bands. Thank you, Canary. Thank you, all, those who were listening. As always, I appreciate being on your lives. And yeah, what a very in-depth, very grown-up conversation we had. I love these conversations because we get to have and I get to talk to adults and you know what I mean. I get to talk to other adults about adult shit. It's cool. Granted, it's cool to have conversations with your bros and just be stupid every now and then and have a good laugh, but sometimes, like when you're in an environment where you talk hey, when you're in an environment like that for a long period of time, it's like, hey, you do need to like have moments of quiet or moments of seriousness, and like, hey, if I can be serious for a minute, or hey, if we can just be like, yo, can we like be adults for a moment, like just to like even things out, and keep the mind sharp, keep the make sure the collective IQ stays far above room temperature, shit like that. I enjoy these live streams where it's grown ass adults talking to each other like grown ass adults, and just being upfront, honest, and just open, man. I hate these fucking TikTok live spaces where adults treat other adults like fucking children. Why? I get it. It's because those adults act like fucking children, but damn it, man, it's this thing Phil Mento said when he's talking about Paul Dano. It's like, nobody likes a whiny baby. Nobody respects a whiny baby, especially when that baby isn't a fucking baby. Like, damn. Fuck's sake, man. It's just, it's so goddamn refreshing. It's such a breath of fresh air. It's like, it's that scene in Backdraft. Yeah, it's that scene in Backdraft where like Scott Glenn is walking through the smoke and he's like coughing and he's having trouble breathing, and he just lights up a cigarette, takes a deep breath, and he's like, it's like that. That's what that shit is. Like, I feel like Scott Glenn in that movie when I'm dealing with all these, I'm on these other live streams, talking to these other individuals. Like, not all of them, okay, some of them. I'm listening to all this other bullshit going on. I'm just wading through a fucking cloud of smoke and soot and all this just nonsense that people spew. And every now and then I'll have a conversation like this, which is the deep puff of the cigarette, to be like, oh, yeah. Also, like, just the little bit of humor, like, dude is walking through a building full of smoke and soot and is having trouble breathing, and his breathing gets cleared up when he takes a puff of a cigarette. More smoke? Like, what? Like, oh shit. Like, I get it fits here because at the end of the day, I'm complaining about other live streams, but the remedy to that, what makes me feel better is another live stream, like, at the end of the day, it's all smoke, but, this is a different kind of smoke, alright? Oh, man. The man on the moon is up and we want the smoke. But the right kind of smoke, alright? The right kind of smoke. Not the, damage your lungs, fuck up your teeth, and stank up your clothes kind of smoke. Not that literally, but like, this kind of conversation. This real in-depth, rich concept. This in-depth, rich, knowledge-heavy conversation where people can come in, say their piece, and treat each other with respect and dignity that is, I don't believe in deserve, but a respect and dignity that is becoming of an adult, Yeah, there's a point where it's like you hit a certain age and you expect to be treated a certain way, and when you're not, it pisses you off. So, yeah. But this is, circling back to the 50-50 of it all. You want to get a 50-50 relationship? By all means, get one. Make sure your partner is cool with it, and make sure that you both establish early on what that 50-50 relationship is going to look like. Who gets what? Who does what? Pick that up early on in your relationship, and you'll be, you should be just about good. That's all. That's what I got to say on that. Anywho, folks, hey, thank you as always for listening in. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all them nice things. I've been your host, the man on the moon, the Moonlight King from Moonlight Kingdom Podcast. I'll be seeing you around.